The preparation for the GMAT is not an easy one. You might have some friends that are studying for the GMAT and you know that they're struggling to make even a decent score. Worldwide, the average GMAT score is only 560, and over 90% of people get less than a 700. Just imagine that. So in all of my years of experience coaching over 1,000 students for the GMAT, I can definitely pinpoint right now, I can tell what those traits are that will prevent students from getting a high score. So in this video, I will show you what those 5 main mistakes are in your GMAT preparation that will prevent you from getting a high score. Mistake number 1, not understanding the exam's algorithm. Okay, so you want to prepare for the GMAT, fantastic. But then before you start your preparation, you have to know how this exam works. What does it mean being a CAT, for example, right? So I will recommend a video here for you to understand every single detail about the exam. The types of questions that come with the exam, the sections, the times that you have to allocate to answer each question, the exam's algorithm, which is one of the most important things. People, believe me, people don't understand it. Sometimes that's a very sad situation because they are preparing for the GMAT for several months, and then at the end they just kind of find out that this exam is different, that this exam is a CAT, that this exam has a weird algorithm. You have to know that beforehand, okay? If you're going to learn theory, first you have to know how you're going to apply it. What are you going to use it for? That's one of the most important things. So out of all these little things I've told you about, you have to know before, the algorithm is by far the most important thing you have to get a good grip on. But what surprises me is that a lot of people don't know about it, but also a lot of instructors, they don't really pay attention to the algorithm. They focus only on the theory, learning formulas for quant, learning grammar rules for sentence correction, but they don't really coach their students for exam strategy, which is a crucial part, okay? Because you have to know which question you are going to skip in case you skip. You have to know time management. So those things are very important. You have to know, for example, you have to finish exam in order to get full credit. You have to know also that the first questions in the exam are worth more than the others. So those are very important things to keep in mind for exam strategy, and those are things that you should know before even starting your preparation for the GMAT. Mistake number 2, believing the self-prep is for everybody. So earlier in the year, we released a video about how you can self-prep using only free tools, especially from the GMAT Club website, okay? And I received a lot of comments of people that who say it doesn't work. And of course, that's because they are not watching the whole video. You have to watch the whole video because at the end, there is a disclaimer. I was very careful to warn people that self-preparation is not for everybody. Okay, it's not for everybody. You have to be a self-learner in order to even attempt self-preparation. If you're not a self-learner, then self-preparation will just be a horrible, horrible experience. So, how do you know that you are ready for self-learning? If you are truly a self-learner. So the main thing you do is you have to know yourself and you have to know your history your academic history basically. When you were in college, for example, did you used to take tutoring classes, tutoring lessons? Did you need people to explain things to you? Or you were better maybe learning things from a book directly, rather than watching or going to the professor's lecture and understanding whatever they're explaining, right? If you can read a book and understand and apply those concepts, most likely you are a self-learner. If you can't do that, if you need instructors, if you need tutoring sessions, if you need to go to class to listen to the lecture in order to get the concepts, then you are not a self-learner. And if you're not a self-learner, of course, it's not advisable for you to do this on your own. The GMAT is not the TOEFL. The GMAT is not the IELTS. Okay, the GMAT is a difficult exam. So a lot of CEOs have failed exam. A lot of CEOs have gotten low scores. So even bright people, even people who are high achievers, if they don't pay enough attention to their preparation, they just get terrible scores. Okay, the GMAT doesn't really care who you are, where you come from, how much you make. So again, this video we released before, and all the platforms we have for free, those are good, those are great, but only for people who can use them, only for people who are actual self-learners. If you are not a self-learner, don't even attempt it. Mistake number 3, and this mistake is something that's very difficult to assess. Having a big ego, okay? Ego is one of those capital sins, okay, that a lot of students, several of them have, okay? somehow they feel that when they go faster and they just get to the advanced questions really quickly, they are improving. And there's nothing farther away from the truth, okay? If you have watched my video on algorithm, if you watch our video also on self-preparation, there's something you should already have understood. That because of the exam's algorithm, the way they grade you is if you don't really have all the easy questions, or maybe not all, but most of the easy questions correct, you won't even get to see the difficult questions, okay? So let's say if you are preparing, you're just doing advanced questions, hard questions, and you feel good because you're getting them right, well, think again, because what you should be preparing for is for the easy questions, okay? Because if you get a couple of mistakes on the easy questions, things that are basic, that require basic theory, basic grammar rules, basic mathematical knowledge, all right? If you get those wrong, but your exam is gonna be bad. You're gonna get a low score overall, okay? So you have to prepare one step at a time. You first have to prepare with the easy questions, right? Only easy questions for both sections, verbal and quantitative. Once you're doing good with those easy questions, let's say you have an 80 or 90% rate of accuracy, right? You're getting 1 or 2 mistakes per 10 questions, then and only then you're ready to move to intermediate questions, and the same thing, you have to be accurate with them and then move to hard questions. That's the way to practice. If you're not practicing that way, then your preparation is gonna end up in a big disaster. So why ego? What does ego have to do with it? Because a lot of people, they say, okay, I'm preparing, Rod, look at this, I just bought the advanced question bank from MBA.com. Okay, I'm asking, okay, the advanced, but how you doing with the easy questions, right? I'm getting 3-4 mistakes out of 10. So you're fooling around. You don't know what you're doing, okay? It's like a game. It's like a game. If you're level 2, you're not gonna go mess up with the big guys, right? You're gonna get obliterated. So you have to do things at a time. First easy questions, then the intermediate ones, and then end up with the hard ones. Only when you're ready. If you rush, you're gonna pay the price, and the GMAT is gonna make you pay in blood. So for you to understand the big picture and for you to feel, let's say, with less pressure, all right? I've had several students getting a 700, okay? 690, 700, 710 maybe, only by being good, being competitive at easy and intermediate questions. So basically they don't make mistakes on easy questions and they don't make mistakes on intermediate questions, but they don't know really how to handle the hard questions. But even with that, because of the exam's algorithm, they were able to answer most of the easy questions right and most of the intermediate questions right. They can get a 700. So that's the best way actually to get a 700. If you want a higher score, then you practice with the advanced questions. So when you're starting your GMAT preparation, just leave the ego at the door. Mistake number 4, not exhausting the material. And this one has to do also maybe with the ego, with comfort, okay? And being too comfortable in the preparation is not good, okay? It's gonna get you nowhere. So what I mean with not exhausting the material, basically, let's take this example, okay? So basically here we have a sentence correction question, all right? Some of the people, several of these students who don't know how to prepare correctly, what they do is they make splits, okay? They find one mistake really, and they just eliminate the answer and say, okay, I've solved the question. There's nothing else to learn from the question. And that's just false, okay? So they're just scratching the surface. That's the thing. So they're wasting this precious question, all right? Especially when we are dealing with official material. So what you should do, what is an optimal preparation? You go to this question, okay, you do it on time, perfect. You just eliminate it as quick as you can, that's good. But after you're done with that question still has a lot of things to teach you. So you go back to it and you find everything that could possibly be wrong with that, with the answer choices that are not the answer, right? With the wrong answer choices. So what do you end up with this? So you have over 5 mistakes, over 5 things that you can learn, right? Over 5 things that are incorrect, so you learn those things. You interiorize those things. So that's the difference. If you do this for every single question, let's say you practice with at least 1,000 sentence correction questions for your whole preparation, that's what I recommend for you to at least attempt at taking the exam. So if you practice, one person is going to know 1,000 ways to solve a question, while the other one who prepared better is going to know over 5,000 ways. So it's going to be 5 times more capable and 5 times more likely to get a higher score, to get a 700 than the other person. So practicing in the right way is very important. And mistake number 5. Okay, this one is something very common I've seen in several students, and usually this will cause you don't really get accepted anywhere. Okay, not having clear goals. Not having clear goals involves not really understanding the admissions process, not really understanding what you want to do, not understanding yourself. You don't know yourself, so you have to take a time before you even start your GMAT preparation to assess your own goals and to make sure that those are realistic goals. So why do you want to take the GMAT for? Of course, to get into an MBA program, right? You want to apply to business school for an MBA or any other similar degree. So once you have that, is okay, you should already have chosen the business schools you're going to apply to, the business schools you want to get into. Before even taking the GMAT, you should be acquainted with the times, the rounds, right? If you are fit to get into that business school, you should already know things about it. You should already also know the average GMAT score they handle, right? So only then you can start GMAT preparation in an efficient way. So basically, some people don't know what they're doing. They just say, okay, I want to prepare for the GMAT. I don't know really what to do with it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. They don't even know what score they want. They just say, okay, I'm just going to prepare for the GMAT, take the GMAT and get the best possible score. Okay, no. That's not what you're going to do. You're not getting the best possible score, okay? That's not the way you should approach this. It's a very different thing for you to start your preparation with a 720, 730 on mind. For example, if you want to apply to Harvard, Stanford. And a different thing, a whole different preparation if you want to start or you want to get a 670, for example, or 660. That's a whole different animal, whole different journey, all right? And one involves a lot of sacrifice. The other one is an easier route, right from the get-go. So if you truly need a 720, if you want a 730 because you want to apply to one of the top universities, or maybe because you need a scholarship, all right? You need a scholarship, then what I'm telling you is this. You should be willing to make the GMAT the most important thing in your life for the next 3 months. Plain and simple, okay? More important than your job, more important than your family, friends, whatever. Forget your social life, it doesn't matter, right? GMAT only, you eat GMAT, you breathe GMAT, everything GMAT, okay? You're gonna ask me, of course, there are people who don't put the sacrifice and they don't put the time and they still get high scores. Yeah, they do, they get lucky. That's it. Some people are lucky, okay? You might get lucky too. But if you truly have made up your mind to apply to business school because you want it, you don't want to run any risks, okay? You truly want it, so you go and get it. We're making a whole video on this because it's a very touchy topic, all right? People don't put the right amount of sacrifice, the right amount of effort at the right time. If you don't do that, then your preparation is just going to be destined to fall, destined to fail, okay? The same thing with investment, okay? Some people want to apply to Stanford, Harvard, spend over $200,000 and they want to get cheap when they study for a GMAT. They're looking for free questions, free material, right? What's $5,000-$10,000 to get a better preparation if you're already planning to spend over $200,000, right? That doesn't make sense. That's not how decisive, how resolute-minded people think. If you ask a CEO, for example, right? Now you make the match, right? CEO, GMAT, MBA, that's kind of thing, because they act that way. When they want to get something, they say, okay, I want to go to this place, and I know because of experience or because of statistics that doing this will allow me to go there. So they make the right investment at the right time. They put the effort, and they get to the results. That's why they are big achievers. Okay, that's why they're achievers. They can achieve a lot of things in a short period of time. And they are result-oriented, and that's what MBA programs, especially the top programs, are looking for in people. And actually, from my experience, I can tell you that most people that go to Stanford, Harvard, Columbia, Wharton, etc., the top MBAs, especially in the States, they are very resolute people. Their mind is totally made up before they even attempt something, okay? So they are very decisive people. Now, if you are not like that, then you have to start thinking, why do you want an MBA in the first place, right? If you don't have the trait, which most people have, you have to see, because that's going to reflect on your resume. And the outcomes of those schools, they're really good at seeing that, filtering that out, okay? They know, unless you're a genius maybe, right? But if you don't have those traits that are common in the business world, right? You're not resolute, you're not efficient, you don't get results quick, then you have to start kind of broadening your view and assessing whether you really need the MBA or not. Okay, so we're gonna make a whole video on this. I don't want to expand too much on this right now because there's not the time. But just for you to know, it's very important that you already know what score you need before starting your preparation. A lot of people say, I don't know, right? That's not the answer. It just shows that you don't have things clear. Okay, so you need to be more into your goals and really have clear goals. So this has been the 5 main mistakes that will prevent anybody from getting a high GMAT score. Okay, the GMAT is a beautiful exam. It's been beautiful made. I'm in love with the GMAT, okay? And it's not for everybody. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel because every week you'll be getting information on the GMAT, on the TOEFL, on English tips also. And also leave us a comment, okay? Because we like to read your comments and we want to know what you think also. So I've left the link to the other videos we've made about the GMAT in the description. And just check them out because I'm pretty sure they're going to help you out big time.